really haven't thought about the Russian space program recently, but events from this past week have made it impossible to ignore what's happening. And I thought that I was late to the party because some pretty big breaking news happened around Thanksgiving with a Russian launch site mishap, and I'm going to tell you about that. But we also just had some new information today about a Crew 12 cosmonaut being taken off the mission because he was sneaking photos of SpaceX hardware. Not cool, bro. So let's start with the news about the Launchpad, which, it's a big deal what happened. Not only will Russia have to repair this support tower that apparently just collapsed shortly after the launch, but this also temporarily takes away Russia's ability to send astronauts in cargo to the International Space Station. Now, thankfully, the 3 astronauts on this rocket were not injured. The launch itself went well. But there's a reason there's an exclusion zone for launches. These rockets are super powerful, and apparently this infrastructure didn't hold up very well. But take a look at this before and after photo. The force of the Soyuz rocket's exhaust apparently made this happen. Apparently, a service platform that's used for pre-launch preparations was moved out of its protective shelter, and that platform fell into the flame trench below. So while SpaceX is purposely destroying its Pad 1 or Pad A down at Starbase to build a new one, this, of course, was a huge accident, and luckily it wasn't worse, but we're not exactly sure how much is going to go into fixing up the launch pad. But this puts Russia in a pretty tough position, and the news from today with the cosmonaut doesn't help the situation at all. It's really crazy how the tables have turned. The Russian space program used to be uber successful, and we, the United States, used to rely on the Russian space program to get astronauts to orbit. According to a statement from Roscosmos on Friday, they did confirm unspecified damage at the launch pad, but of course they downplayed it. They said, quote, "All necessary parts needed for repairs are at our disposal and the damage will be dealt with in the near future." But according to a space commenter, Vitaly Yegorov, this has been the only launch pad serving the Russian part of the ISS program since 2019, meaning Russia lost its ability now to launch humans into space until they fix it. And by the way, this launch pad is in Kazakhstan at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. And yes, Russia has other launch pads for the Soyuz rocket. The issue is that they're geographically too far north to get astronauts to a space station. According to Anatoly Zak, one potential culprit in the Site 31 accident, the failure to install a stopper that had to secure the mobile service platform inside its shelter before launch. And some people on X are pointing out that unfortunately, the Russians will not be able to quickly replace the collapsed infrastructure of their Baikonur launch pad because it was designed and manufactured by Ukrainians. Okay, so I saw this happen on Thanksgiving. I should have made a video. That was my bad. But I'm making a video about it today because there's some pretty crazy news as well involving Russian cosmonaut Oleg Artemyev. I'm totally butchering that. Anyway, this guy was going to be on the Crew 12 mission. It's scheduled to launch in a few months from now, but he's since been removed from that mission because he violated ITAR export control regulations, reportedly photographing SpaceX engines and other internal documents on his phone and taking them off the base. Since 2019, Oleg has been a deputy in the Moscow Regional Parliament and a member of Putin's United Russia Party. So this is an incredibly embarrassing time for this to happen, and I'll tell you why. Because Russia recently made a proposal to work with SpaceX on a Mars mission as part of a diplomacy effort. Back in March, it was reported that Russia saw big prospects to work with the United States, including in the space sector, and was expected to hold talks with Elon Musk soon about flying to Mars. So yeah, considering that this happened now, I'm not sure how much cooperation and how much that proposal is going to work out. But I don't know how many of you guys remember, it's been a couple years now, but I was actually on YouTube at the time, and I did cover this, the whole broomstick saga. So back in 2021, when SpaceX was taking over NASA crew transport and Russia was losing its monopoly on getting astronauts to orbit, Dmitry Rogozin, the head of Roscosmos at the time, mocked the US. He said NASA would, quote, need to use a trampoline to reach space, and later doubled down with this infamous broomstick jab, implying American astronauts would be stuck riding glorified broomsticks without Russia. LOL. But look at this. Now Russia, or at least Oleg, is trying to sneak SpaceX's tech. I just think it's ironic that now one of their cosmonauts is being removed for photographing proprietary SpaceX systems. The tables have turned. So anyway, there's some of the tea, but it's just been really interesting reading the commentary on X. Like this comment, in the span of a week, the Russian human space exploration program has shot itself in both feet. Or this one that says, we're stealing your classified info, but also, can we go to Mars with you? Also, we need a ride to low Earth orbit for a while. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, the Russian space program has been suffering for a few years now, and a lot of that is self-inflicted. But how much do you think that this is going to impact them moving forward? I think quite a lot. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.